Saturday is the time for me to get with my buddies. Anything that makes us work out. Kiss again. James extreme, he tells it like it is. Zeus is the god of thunder and super famous, and I'm just a goof who makes noise on his guitar. Whoa, 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 mark out Mania. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, it's time for mark out Mania. No,
yeah. I
do that long ass intro, and then I hit the wrong.
And warmed up. You warmed up.
Warmed up.
Tuned up, and you still did like a beat.
Oh
my goodness,
that was funny. Good job.
Welcome everyone to the Mark Out Mania.
Yeah. Woo, what's up, everybody? What's going on, boys?
Well, it's April, but we still have the Madness of March Mark Out Mania Tag Team Tournament going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Some good matchups, man. Some good matchups. So, that Captain Lou Albano region had me sweating a little bit. I was like, "Whoa, this is good stuff."
Well, it's breaking down, man. They've all gotten tough. It's been some heartbreakers here and there. We had to resolve one of those. There was a tie.
I'm filing a grievance.
And we should. I think I'm. I might have to institute the fact that one of the ring ropes was broken and turn the titles to the rightful owner. Talk about a stupid fucking thing. I was talking about that the other day because somebody was like, well, the Rockers won the WWF tag titles once, and I'm like, nope,
it wasn't official.
Had in their hands, but it was rescinded and given back to the Hearts.
Didn't they made him retape that whole match?
No.
Stanley
never happened, right?
No. Stanley Blackburn, the president, came on WWF TV on the Superstars show and said what happened.
Oh,
really?
Said the broken rope nullified the tag title being on the line, and it at that point became a regular match, and the title change is not recognized, and the belts are returned back to the Hart Foundation.
Wow, they didn't even kayfabe it. Almost like a fictitious tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
Hey, quick shout out to YYH in the chat room.
Double Y, Double H, what's going on? Hola.
James, you're referring to the Intercontinental setup?
Yeah, first Intercontinental Championship in Rio de Janeiro in front of 162,000 screaming fans. Yeah.
So we got the Madness of March.
It's a good tournament, man.
Round 2, the second round, we got those results to talk about. I know James and I got to get into some Tiger King.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Did you see any of this, Zeus?
No, but
Okay,
I did see where Mama Storm's baby boy talked about meeting him and everything. I don't know if you caught that off.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we got Brian Bell in the chat.
Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Let's go Bulldogs.
Let's go Bulldogs in the tournament. Really? What's up, Brian? Thanks for joining us.
There's a lot of good free content on on a lot of people's websites and YouTube channels, like the New Japan show that I went to in Durham. All the matches are on free on YouTube, so you can see you can see my big ugly bald head in the crowd, because they used a hard cam, and the ringside guy was using a digital camera.
Well, that was never meant to be televised. That's why, right?
Well, I guess not. I'm thinking it was probably not, going to be, and then they, went ahead and took a look at it all and said, well, let's do it. What the hell else is there? So it was a great thing, and I'm really happy about that, because you can at 2 minutes and 8 seconds into that main event match, you can hear me scream and yell for the Gorillas of Destiny, and that was really cool, because I'm pretty sure that the 55-year-old couple that was sitting beside me, I'm pretty sure they were Chaos fans or maybe LIJ fans or something. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. They didn't even really look like they belonged there. Like they must have thought that, I don't know what they thought, because they were just really.
They thought they were going to come in and watch Hogan.
No. They looked like they wanted to watch an art show.
Oh, they were totally off.
Yeah, they were really completely out of place, and I know I scared the ever living shit out of them when.
You said they wanted to see an art show?
That's what they look like. I mean, they just look like a couple of, they didn't look like wrestling fans at all. I mean, in any way, shape, or form. Well, like I said, mid 50s, plain dressed, very.
It's like, hey, this isn't the Monet exhibit. Nope, it's New Japan, bitch.
Yeah.
This is a good. I was just gonna say this is a good segue to talk about something. So I watched AEW this week, which is what, their third episode.
Why?
Helping out someone, but it's their third episode without people, right? Without audience. And it was super bad, which is not that part's not a surprise. But you were saying about art, right? So the first
that's what they. Yeah.
Well, the first match was Kenny Omega versus Trent or Trent. Sorry, he's a Trent now, right?
I guess. Who fuck knows?
Okay, so Cody was going to be on commentary. Now, you might remember last week I tried watching it, and Cody on commentary drove me up the fucking wall. So this week, I didn't mess with the commentary. I just turned the sound off, and I put some music on. I was listening to Etsuko Sai, this Japanese pop singer from the 80s. So I was listening to some Japanese pop music and watching Kenny versus Trent. There were so many moments that were like watching a dance performance for a stage. I'm just being completely honest. There were lots of moments where they're doing these like weird hand things and kind of like weird dramatic poses, and just the way they did their moves didn't come off like a fight. It came off like this weird dance thing that was going on. And it was where I've never got this impression before watching Kenny Omega, but watching it with the sound off and music, it became like this weird dance, like jazz hands thing was happening.
Jazz hands.
Well, I've heard, I have heard that Jim Cornette brings this stuff up about the jazz hands and things like that. But when you watch it in this scenario, you start noticing these things. He actually does these weird little.
It was a little crazy. It was a little nuts.
No, it was just straight.
Yeah, the jazz hands. He does do that.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't look like a fight. that was the thing that stood out to me. It did not look like a fight.
Let me ask you guys a question, because I don't watch AEW because I can't stand it. It sucks. So, do you think the in-ring work is overproduced too, or no?
What do you mean by overproduced?
Is it like, has it been over practice? Has it been over, is it over choreographed?
I mean, to me, it's as formula as WWE is in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing. I mean, it's indie style. I mean, it's
Right.
it's the indie style, and that's it's really that's what it's what they do. I mean,
it's just very formula. Like you can like the beats of how things happen and when things happen, like the dives, the this, etc. The momentum changes. When it's going to happen, just as if you were watching Raw or SmackDown. When stuff is about to happen. When they're about to go to commercial break, etc., etc.
Right.
It's just very formula. But I didn't notice the dance aspect so much. What was weird about this, just to continue this a bit, so the next match after this, they had a video hyping up Hikaru Shida, and then they had a match against some lady named Anna Jay. And it was weird that the music I was listening to timed perfectly because it was all in like 4/4 beat. So it all timed perfectly with what's happening on the screen. Like someone had edited this together. It was really kind of strange. But two more things real fast. Brody Lee, they had him in an ill-fitting suit. It was a suit that didn't fit him at all.
Don't tell me they're already fucking him up.
Oh, he's fucked up. He's totally fucked up. He has this vignette that looks like it was filmed on my cell phone. And it's in a room. There's a TV thing behind him, and he's in a suit that doesn't fit him. The tie is like sticking out under the jacket, and all this stuff, like the bottom of the jacket. And he just looks like a geek with a big beard. And that segment was so badly like produced and acted. And I was just like, I got cringy TNA feels from it. And then they did a thing with Jericho being confronted by Vanguard 1, Matt Hardy's drone. And that thing was like another TNA-esque like kind of deal with, and they're like hamming it up. Like Jericho's like, release the hounds, like all comically. And then all these cute little dogs come running out, these little chihuahuas and stuff. And they're like, rah, rah, rah.
Oh my God. Did they debut Lance Archer yet?
Yo, okay, so he debuted in the ring. Yes, he fought. What's that? The short dude, Marco Stunt. And at first, I was like, "Oh shit, they're gonna have him fight the shitty little dude." But I have to give props to Marco Stunt in that dude took insane fucking bumps. The way he let Lance Archer just throw him around with like almost no regards to his safety was like just fucking insane. Did y'all see any of that?
I saw the end of it. I think I saw like maybe a razor's edge and a choke slam or something.
Yeah, he was just throwing him around haphazardly all over the place. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't haphazardly. It's how it came off, right? But some of those bumps Marco Stunt took were just nuts. I was like, oh, my God, why is this dude taking these bumps? But it's to get the person over. I get it. But, yeah. So, yeah, he did debut in the ring. That was just kind of spectacular from, this dude is taking crazy-ass bumps.
Speaking of Lance Archer, I don't know if they put that match on the YouTube. That's a good question. Yeah. So I mean, so what was the what was the conclusion to all of it?
Of the Lance Archer thing?
No, I mean the whole show.
AEW? Oh, well, they had this shitty match between Darby Allin. Who was he teaming with? Was it Cody? I think it was Darby Allin and Cody versus Shawn Spears and someone else. And it was to hype up that TNT tournament. They're doing that title tournament they're doing for that TNT thing.
Right.
And it was a dumb match. There's a spot where Darby Allin thought he was Aerostar, and he climbed up this pole and did like a dive off this pole. But otherwise, there's nothing I could really tell you about. The heels won, which was kind of surprising. But Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears. I think that's how the show ended. I can't remember. It was bad. The no audience wrestling stuff is just not appealing.
I give you credit for watching it because I tried to watch NXT this week and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I saw Kushida was wrestling someone. I can't remember who was. Oh, DJZ, but under DJZ's new name, Joaquin Wild.
Enjoy.
Yeah. I just couldn't get into it, and I was like, it was a big three. It was a big triple threat match. Actually, with Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and with Damian Priest, I just couldn't get into it either. It just because they keep mixing up the live stuff in the ring with old stuff from older shows, and I don't want to see the older stuff from older shows. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if you're trying to be creative, don't be lazy and just interject a 45-minute match from an old pay-per-view. But be creative. Do like a little spot show. Do like a little talk show. Do something. Have interactive with the fans. Be a little creative. At a time like this, everybody needs to step up and be creative. I don't want to see Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels on SmackDown for the 450th time from WrestleMania. Everybody who's a Ric Flair match owns that match, seen that match 1,000 times. I don't need to see it in the middle of SmackDown. No, it just sucks. I am over the whole no audience wrestling. And I'm sorry, this may not be a popular opinion, but I believe until this whole thing breaks down, until this whole pandemic is over, I think wrestling should take a little break. I think it should get put on pause, exhale, and after everything starts up again, wrestling can start up again. Whole new fresh, to start fresh. Give all your talent a chance to heal up. You recharge their batteries, refresh.
But didn't we say that the last 2 weeks? Like, it feels inappropriate to have these wrestling going on because all these people shouldn't be in the same building. Because it's not
just the wrestlers; it's the whole crew.
Yeah, you have to have all this crew to put on the show.
I mean, you have to have
people are bitching. Wrestlers are bitching.
Working in the arena, you have to have people working the TV. You have to. I mean, it's a shitload of fucking people. I mean, it's got to be at least 100 fucking people in the building.
And actually, with me being here in Orlando, they want to shut down the Performance Center.
Yeah,
because it's not quote unquote essential.
My understanding that AEW show this week was from QT Marshall's wrestling school, right? And the state of Georgia tried to shut it down, but they had appropriate papers to, Oh,
I think it's ridiculous.
The Kaiju Queen is here.
Hey, Heather, how's it going,
the Kaiju Queen is in the hizzy. What's up, Heather? Hopefully, Goma's good. How you doing?
If y'all haven't seen it, last week we had the Kaiju Queen on, and we talked, top 5 fave Godzilla films. So,
that's for Gomer.
Brutal.
So, anyways, yeah.
Speaking of dogs, how about that tag team tournament? Oh my god!
Yeah.
So, y'all want to get into that?
Sure.
Yeah, Zeus, do me a favor because you got your computer in front of you, right?
Right.
Okay. Can you run down the entire second round so far?
Yes. Yeah. So,
Thank you,
first
brother.
of all, do want to say thank you to everybody who's been voting, commenting, and retweeting. We do appreciate it. It's great. You know, the more people that vote, you know, it just solidifies the winners and everything. So, the first region we started the second round in was the Grand Wizard region. The Grand Wizard was a Jewish manager of tag teams in the 60s, 70s, and very early 80s. He took that name to take power away from the people who use it that it's most known for. So
That's
if anybody
right.
doesn't like that, you know, just do a little reading and find out about this crazy dude. He used to run around and he was, you know, widely regarded as one of the greatest managers of all time. So that being said, the top seed, the Dudley Boys, rolled over Edge and Christian, 65% to 35%.
I thought that would be closer.
Well, you know, it could have been, you know, and it would have been probably, you know, 15 years ago would have been a lot closer. 20 years ago probably would have been a lot closer. But, you know, the body of work of the Dudleys, you know, does really outshine Edge and Christian, you know, as far as greatness in the tag team division. It's, you know, Dudleys are, you know, they're the number 4 seed overall for a good reason. The Outsiders fell to the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
That was a good romp. I'm sure Mr. Bell appreciates that.
Paul and Nash are so over fucking rated. But yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I saw somebody on a different poll say, you know, what's the deal with that? You know, no love for the Outsiders. They're one of the top 3 tag teams of all time.
Oh my god, what fucking crack are you smoking? Jesus.
Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, okay. Steamboat and Youngblood beat Red Dragon, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. That was 70 to 30%, and as Heather would say, if you don't vote for a Steamboat, you're a cop. And you know, take that for what you will. The upset in the round was Mitsuharu Miyazawa and Kenta Kobashi defeating the Young Bucks.
Yes.
Thank God. People came to their senses. Fuck the Bucks. They suck.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Celebration.
The
and then we had let's see, where are we at? Then we had the Gary Hart region. Let's see. No. We had the Bobby Heenan region, second round. So the Rock and Roll Express, they defeated the Fantastics, and oh my God, wouldn't that have been a fucking amazing match to see? I would, you know.
Hold on for a second, Zeus. Hollywood Blondes equals the Young Bucks? No fucking way, Brian. The Young Bucks couldn't touch the Hollywood Blondes.
No, James, they're greater than the Young Bucks.
Oh, greater than the Young Bucks. My bad. My apologies, Brian.
Your math.
Bell, you got to get a hold of this love for the Blondes because they weren't even a tag team for a whole fucking year. They didn't even have 2 matching belts. Okay, that's how.
Yeah, I remember that.
Far
Yeah.
off my radar they are. And I liked them. I enjoyed them. They were entertaining. But you know, okay.
Yeah.
And so
they were better than the Young Bucks, though.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's better than the Young Bucks.
Yeah, but you know.
My apologies, Brian Bell.
The time and the accolades to you know. So anyway, the fabulous Freebirds upset Demolition.
That's an upset, actually, in my book.
It was. The Freebirds were in another upset in a fucking sudden death overtime rematch decided this morning.
This is I'm filing protest.
Now, Kane and Undertaker defeated Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda 2-time WWF World Tag and
sacrilege.
If Andy is out there and listening, it's Bruce's fault. No, Joe.
I apologize.
People woke up and they didn't even get a chance to vote. I'm calling Stanley Blackburn. I'm calling Toots Mon, Renee Goulet, even Iron Mike Sharp is going to get protest. I'm calling everybody.
Angie, prepare your protest. No.
Where the fuck is New Jack when you need him? Speaking of that, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. we'll get into that motherfucking thing later. Jake.
Yeah.
And then Bobby and Stan, the Midnight Express, defeated Doom. So
I like Doom, but you can't fuck with the Midnight Express. They're awesome.
Yeah,
Midnight Express.
So that's that's going to be some great matchups for the quarters.
Yeah.
And then in the Gary Hart region, the Steiners beat the Lucha Brothers handily. I mean, they destroyed them. Upset the number 18 seed Dory Funk Jr. and his Funk defeat the Miracle Violence Connection. Steve, Dr. Death Williams, and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. It was like about a 60-40 split. It was pretty handily. The Funks came on late and never let go in the voting, which is really amazing. I didn't expect that at all. It was
that's a tough matchup, man. That's a tough matchup.
Yeah, that is a pretty tough matchup.
Yeah, it was a 14 versus an 18. So then we had Harlem Heat rolled over Ivan and Nikita Koloff. Booker T and Stevie Ray got a decade, 10-time WCW tag team champions. They really, they just, I think that number 6 spot pretty well. Sadly, Uncle Ivan and nephew Nikita had to, had to go home from the tournament.
Should throw it down.
That's right. And then one of the most legendary tag teams of all time, Stan Hansen and Bruiser Brody, utterly destroyed Gallows and Anderson,
as they should.
Yeah, and that was like almost a 90-10 split. It was a high 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the Captain Lou Albano region right now, it's still not. It'll be over in about 6 hours, but it's pretty much it's the only close one. Is the Briscoes are starting to pull away from Sting and Luger.
Thank God. Get Luger out of this tournament.
An upset. The Road Warriors are destroying the Usos. British Bulldogs are handling. Kevin and Kerry are making a little bit of a comeback.
Yes.
And then Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson are rolling over Muto and Chono.
We should have a bonus shitty match. Just have a bonus shitty match. If it's Lex Luger versus fucking Teddy Hart, let's call it a day.
Damn. So
ooh, I'm telling you, man, the Captain Lou Albano is fucking killing me, that region.
So you're saying the Von Erichs have a chance?
I'm saying they have a chance, but it's not a good chance.
Yeah. They're against the Bulldogs, right?
You said, they're against the British Bulldogs.
Yeah, that one is really hard. I mean,
that's that's tough. That's tough.
Because I'm from Texas, you know who I want, who I voted for.
And I mean, and like I said, and the British Bulldogs are really good, really good together for about 5 years. 5 out of the 8 years they were together, they were really good.
But they were self-destructive.
Right. And I mean, Kevin and Kerry, they both had their issues too, but overall, I mean, the body of work for Kevin and Kerry, is very substantial. I mean, it was actually, I thought it was Kevin and Kerry, but it was actually Kevin and David were All Japan, All Asian tag champs one time. But Kevin and Kerry were overall like 5-time world-class world tag team champions. So that's why I went with that
I think if Kevin and Kerry had won some tag team straps outside of world class, it would have been even better. But they just, they didn't do it, because like
it was
everybody booked Kerry by himself. Like he was in.
No, it wasn't that. It was that they talked about this in the panel, the world class panel at WrestleCade, because that they said that Crockett wanted to have Kevin and Kerry for 6 months. It would have been incredible. I mean, can you imagine them as a tag team in Crockett for in like 86, 87? Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been
a whole bunch of
matchups. Been great for them. I mean, they definitely would have. They would have been up. World Tag Team Champions. Or at the very least, U.S. Tag Team Champions. But
British Bulldogs were. I was just gonna say, they're the Stampede Tag Champions twice, besides the WWF titles.
And I think they might have had the All Japan, All Asian Tag Team.
I think they had a run in Japan. Yeah,
they did have a run in All Japan after the WWF run. I don't know if they won anything in it, but there are matches.
I think they were All Asian Tag Champs one time. I'm not sure. But like second round, matchups or the next round matchup, for the Captain Lou Albano Road Warriors against the Briscoes, which actually went down when the Road Warriors were in Georgia before they left for the we're looking at the Bulldogs against Blanche.
Oh, that's tough, man.
Yeah. That's going to be in the Gary Hart region. It's going to be the Funks against the Steiners, and that's going to be that's going to be good. And then it's going to be Harlem Heat against Hanson and Brody.
Oh, I would like to see that. I would actually like to see that actual match.
Right? And then we'll see the Rock and Roll Express against the Freebirds. And the Midnight Express against Kane and Undertaker.
What is this obsession with Kane and Undertaker? They have more matches against each other than with each other. I don't get that. I don't get this obsession with them as a tag team.
I mean, they won the WWF tag team titles twice, and they won the WCW/WWF tag team championship.
I can see if it's the Undertaker by himself or if it's Kane by himself, But like as a team, they weren't that dominant because they weren't together that long.
No, they weren't. And probably my fucking mistake for putting the tournament in the first. No.
It's cool. That's good. But you would think the people who are voting would say, they're good individually, but as a team, they weren't all that.
But they're just looking at name
established team.
I mean,
right.
But that's the same thing with Muda and Chono over 10 Co's. that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, beat me up. Yeah, I know.
So then
I voted Muno Chono. I'm not gonna lie.
I love him too. You know I love him.
I love Chono.
Finally,
Chono to me is a beast.
Yeah, and so in the Grand Wizard region, the next matchups are going to be the Dudley Boys against the Hart Foundation, Steam Blood against Babashi.
Oh, that's a tough matchup. Jesus.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, on just a thing on the British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid had the All Asia Tag Titles with Johnny Smith, not with Davey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was after they broke up.
Yeah.
That was after him and Davey Boy broke up. Yeah.
Davey Boy.
And Davey Boy going into the Hall of Fame this year, so.
Well, there's no Hall of Fame this year, so it's going to have to be next year or whatever year they do it, or they do it.
Well,
like,
there's no Hall of Fame.
I don't know how to do it.
So.
Yeah,
it's
true.
But they can put anybody in there they want to. It's not a real fucking place. It's not like
I know that sucks. And you know, you would think that because they have a warehouse, but they have all this old shit stored in it. I mean, they could make an attraction out of it, you know, and it could be a legit Hall of Fame. But you know, you would think Vince would be on top of that too, you know, because they have so much shit in there.
I hear so many rumors that he's got Alzheimer's and all this other shit. And, I mean, he's
he keeps fighting. I mean, he's he's literally the only person who wanted WrestleMania to actually go on this year. The only person.
Yeah, we'll have to talk. I'm sure I'll watch some of it throughout this week coming up. I'm not going to watch any of it this weekend. But,
I'm going to watch it tonight. I am. I'm going to try to watch it. And if it holds my attention, great. If it doesn't hold my attention, great.
I'm sure we'll talk about it next week, though.
Mm-hmm.
James, when you were saying about it could be an attraction, like in a physical Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they have like the original blue cage, steel cage. They have all these joint costumes, all the original stuff. All the old belts. They could really open up a like a little thing,
The first thing that popped in my mind, because of what's going on right now, I was like, "Oh, you don't want to attract people right now."
No, but not now. I'm not talking about now. But they had all this stuff to do with like 5-10 years ago.
Have y'all found yourselves watching like old movies and TV and going like, "Oh, everyone's too close to each other"?
No.
Oh, Stephanie and I have been doing that a bit. We've been like, "Oh, they're too close."
I found myself watching Contagion. I found myself watching Outbreak. I don't know. I just started watching all these, all these virus movies for the hell of it. I mean, it's to be taken seriously, but at the same time, you can't. I mean, I shouldn't say this, but it's not the apocalypse. But I'm hoping everything will work out okay.
Famous last words, James. You've doomed us
I know, right? I know, right? We're the zombies, damn it! This is not the kind of virus outbreak I expected.
I watched on Shudder. I watched Castle Freak, which is a weird movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I remember that flick.
And then I watched the gore version of Tammy and the T-Rex, which is so it's so bad. Some of it is funny. A movie. But you know what else I watched?
What?
Tiger King.
Oh God, I didn't. So y'all go ahead.
Oh, Zeus, man, you got to watch this thing. I was so dead against watching this. I said, you know what? What the hell? I'm gonna watch it. I watched all 7 episodes in one day. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, see, Stephanie and I were seeing everyone talking about it. Everyone's in all our social media feeds talking about it constantly. So last weekend on Saturday, we're like, well, let's just, it's like Saturday evening. We're like, let's see what it's like. So, we watch one episode. We're like, oh shit. These people are crazy. And then you watch the second episode, and you're like, holy shit, these people are super crazy. And they have these little cliffhanger endings, and you're like, oh my God. Oh, and so you end up like just binging it, and yeah, it's like super addictive. Crack cocaine, reality TV / quote unquote documentary.
And it changes too, because every time you think it's about one thing, then also it switches up. Because like I go from being about illegal animals, and then it turns into a sex cult, and then it turns into like slaves, and you're like, all these people not getting paid for their work, and then it turns into something else. It turns into a murder plot.
Yeah, it turns into like a murder mystery.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell does this show wants to be? And it actually grips you. But you know what? I will say this. I actually will say this. There's not one human being on that show with any kind of redeeming quality whatsoever. They are all bad people. They all either should be in jail or in hell. Okay? There's something wrong with each and every one of them. That one chick killed her husband and fed it to the tigers and lions. And she kept all the money away from the kids. And what a savage bitch. Okay? She was brutal.
Are you talking about that bitch Carol Baskin?
Yeah, Carol Bell. And then Joe Exotic is making videos, putting videos out of him blowing up her head. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, man? You're making an actual threat on somebody's life. You can't do that. And Joe Exotic with his sex cult and marrying with the two guys who weren't even gay, but they pretended to be gay for pay.
For drugs. Yeah,
for drugs. It was gay for pay. And this guy's got a knee brace on and a cane. I'm like, what are you? He's like 105 pounds wet, soaking wet. He's got the world's worst mullet. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And then he's running for Congress.
Was Buff or something?
Buff Bagwell. And then he runs for Congress. He tries to run for president or governor.
Or governor. Well, first as president, then it downgrades to governor.
And this guy's like, there's something wrong with these people. Like, inherently something wrong within their DNA. The level of narcissism on display is, I haven't seen anything like that since the Orange Buffoon. It's insane. This guy was like so his narcissism was running wild. He was living in a throne. He had a throne. He wore a cape. I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
The throne thing was they were trying to make a reality TV show on like Discovery or something.
Yeah, but did you hear what he said? He kept sitting in the throne. They stopped filming. He was sitting in the throne with the cape all day. Yeah. I was like, come on, man. Are you that full of yourself?
Well, yeah, he was definitely. Joe Exotic was definitely intoxicated by the fame.
Oh my God! Oh my stars and garters! What's wrong with these people?
James, I have some information for you.
Yes, please.
Okay, so watch the show. Of course, we freaked out. All this stuff. These people are nuts. Everyone's a horrible human being. Blah blah blah.
Shady businessmen too. Very shady businessmen.
That bitch Carol Baskins killed her husband, etc., etc. They used expired Walmart. They use expired Walmart meat to feed people, etc., etc. So watch the thing. Then I'm looking around online, seeing what people are saying, and amid everyone, just having the same reactions like us, and like this cult for Joe Exotic even growing larger from this, and the hate towards Carol Baskins growing, monumental, where some people are like, is her life in danger now because of this show, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I found out some interesting tidbits. So the guy who did this documentary, he collects tortoises. He
What do you mean collects tortoises?
he buys tortoises. He has like a giant amount of tortoises, like 150 something tortoises.
Like real freaking
Yeah, like live tortoises. And
Jesus.
okay.
he started some organization, something to show off his tortoises and whatever. And coincidentally, the name he used was similar to a thing for sea turtles that already existed in Florida. And maybe he has some issues with these people who have this name or whatever that he kind of rips off of in Florida. So, does this sound familiar to you, James? From anything
It's starting
in
to
the
sound.
show?
It's starting to sound familiar. Go ahead.
So, imagine the guy who's going through this makes a documentary about Joe Exotic, who had a lawsuit, a thing with Carol Baskins over using a similar name, and he makes Joe Exotic very sympathetic, and makes Carol Baskins very non-sympathetic, um, and tries to say like her deal of trying to is the same as these other people, and it all gets a little fishy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It all gets a little weird, which I didn't know that beforehand. You're like, oh, that is kind of strange. The other thing was apparently when he got people to do this documentary, specifically the Carol Baskins and those people, they were telling them they were trying to make a documentary like Blackfish. Any of y'all ever seen Blackfish?
Yeah.
I know about it, but
So they said they're trying to make something like Blackfish about the killer whales, or The Cove about the killing of the dolphins.
Yeah, well, the whole thing started with the snakes, remember? Because it was about like how the snakes were all brought in, then it just morphed. Right.
Yeah, on the in the narrative of the documentary, that's their story. Yeah. So they were told that it was going to be a documentary like that, but of course, then they saw the finished product, and it was not like that at all.
Pedro, that thing was brutal, man. Those people. It was like they were living in a commune, can't eat, eat one meal a day.
Oh, it's terrible.
You get paid $100 a week for.
I mean,
it was ridiculous.
Both Joe Exotic and Doc Antley are, how do you say that dude's name?
The Doc, Doc with okay, the Atlas or Atney or something like that.
Yeah, they both have like weird slave cult things going on. The Doc guy, he has people basically living for nothing, and the women becoming his sex slaves. I mean, it's bizarre, right? But going back to the Carol Baskins thing, so they portray very heavily that she murdered her husband. They hint at this pretty heavily, and there's definitely some weird shit there, right?
I mean, like the shit that she did with his will. I mean, he may have cut. I mean, like he cut out his kids, everything. I mean, she was just brutal. That was harsh.
The changing of the wording to disappearance over death. That was
yes,
really, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have something.
Yeah, it's not freaky at all.
Okay, but James, do you remember that there was an assistant to Don West that they talked to a few times, and she was the one talking about the will being changed and blah blah blah.
Yes.
And they're saying she's the only one who would know stuff, and they mentioned this in passing. They didn't rest on this very long, but do you remember they mentioned that she was the other suspect in Don West's disappearance? At
first, right. In the initial investigation, yes. Yes, Pedro, you're right, yeah.
They do not mention why on the documentary, do they?
No.
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because she embezzled over $600,000 from
Don
West and was caught doing it like 2 or 3 months before he disappeared.
Wow.
Holy shit. Again, not one redeemable human on that show.
Yep.
They're all shady.
Did any of you ever watch The Making of a Murderer?
Nope.
No.
Okay, it was This Netflix documentary, if you watch it, you go away thinking the guy who's in jail for some girl's rape and murder, that he's maybe innocent and the cops are out to get him and blah, blah, blah. And then if you go through actual, court case stuff on it, you realize there's no one else who could have done this to this girl but this guy. I mean, you realize he's super guilty, and this documentary just shows you things to paint a sympathetic thing just for him. Well, I mean, that's the thing you have to keep in mind with any of these documentary shows, on the true crime ones. They're showing you stuff with a thing in mind. So, yeah, I don't buy so much, what they were selling us as I did when I binged it.
Well, it's yeah, that's interesting to know about her embezzling the 600 G's. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And I don't like the Carol thing, because I don't like that she changed the wording on the will to disappearance instead of death, so she can get paid. I mean, that's some shady shit. It's everything is shady, and then she cut off the kids and the ex-wife.
Do you remember the story about how she met Don West?
Yeah, she was on the road crying from an abusive ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, she was had a fight with her husband.
Yeah.
She went walking this specific. They mentioned a specific street. I don't remember what the street was called, but people online say that that street was heavily trafficked with prostitution at that point in time.
Oh, so instead of being an abusive boyfriend, it was
possibly
she was getting bitch slapped by a pimp, and then he got picked up by oh shit, look at that.
This is the thing that's out there. Like, potentially she may have been doing some prostitution when this happened. That's another thing left out of all kind of deals, right? Because I mean, who's gonna make a sympathetic?
Not for nothing, but. And if you remember the documentary, he was getting ready to divorce her.
And
then he disappeared. Order. Right. He had a restraining order. So, there's something super fishy. I mean, and I'm sorry, but if like I was married for over 10 plus years and my spouse disappeared, I wouldn't stop resting. I wouldn't stop until I had some type of closure. Either she's dead, she's alive, she's somewhere else, or something. I need a definitive end to this. I would not stop. I'm not going to just give up after I get his fortune, and then I'm going to remarry some puppet. That other guy's a puppet. Okay?
But now we have to get to the most explosive thing, James. The single most explosive thing.
That Tiger King is something else.
Do you remember his songs, his country songs?
Oh yeah, he did it Milli Vanilli style.
Yeah, he didn't write or sing any of those songs.
He didn't write or sing it in the videos. And in the videos, he's feeding that one chick to the tiger. It's supposed to be Carol Baskins.
Yeah.
And he's singing along. He's going to eat you for dinner. I was like, what are you doing, dude? And it's not even him singing.
Stephanie and I were like, why this dude even like go into this tiger stuff? He should have just done country music. And then I find out he of course, because you think about his talking voice, there's no way he was singing.
Yeah, he sounds like
that.
That guy is something else, man. Joe Exotic, he's something else. And I'm stunned that he's the only one who went to prison for this.
I know. Yes, Heather brings up, the sheriff's department is reopening the case against Carol. Yeah.
That's good. That's good, Heather, because they need to. Because that bitch is not, she's guilty.
Yeah, everyone's guilty in this thing, though. That's the crazy
thing. Not one redeeming quality, not one human being.
Animal abuse all across the board. Killing their animals illegally all across the board.
Yeah,
because you're not supposed to euthanize. Like in a zoo or whatever. You're not supposed to euthanize the animal yourself. You're supposed to get kind of a license or a thing. You have to have someone present from the proper authority to do it. So like how Joe Exotic
illegally buying and trading. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't just do that. Yeah, illegally breeding and trading and selling and blah blah blah. I mean,
hire for murder plot. He made threats against Kyle like on a daily basis.
Oh, I'm
gonna blow your head off.
Yeah, like
put
you
a shotgun
said,
in your mouth.
How many times did he shoot like the head of that mannequin and bullshit?
Yeah, So he's crazy, he's all three of them got married, and the guy, they had a big ceremony, and I mean, actually, one husband's wearing a Harley Davidson hat. I mean, they were dressed up and not dressed up. It was something funky about everything. Everything it didn't look right. It just wasn't right. It was like, yo, what's wrong with this picture?
I feel terrible. We did not say spoiler warnings before all of this.
You know what, man?
We've been spoiling everything, but
as a New Yorker living in Florida, I don't want to go near these places. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't want to, there's a lot of backwoods areas and shit like that. And, I've accidentally bumped into a few places where I shouldn't be. And, I'm from New York. I'm not scared of shit. But I swear to God, this is the truth. I was riding with my brother because it was an accident on I-4, okay? So it's a major highway here. So him and I took the back roads to get to where we were going. And through the back roads, it's very rural, like all dirt roads and shit like that. So we drive past this house. This house is, it's almost like a compound. They have a huge old white beat up fence in front of this huge house. And on the fence is a rebel flag. And all around the rebel flag, all spray painted, visitors not welcome, will be shot on sight. And they got rebel flags and these things hanging from the trees, almost like satanic charms. And I'm like, yo, what's going on with this place? It's like that, And there are a lot of places like that. It's a tucked in Florida, shit like that. And this is the first time, I'm legit, it shook me. I was a little scared. I'm like, holy shit, these places actually exist. And I was watching this documentary and I'm going, this place like that could be right down the block. Shit like this actually exists. Yeah. It was in Georgia. It was in Florida. Up in Virginia, and I'm going, wow, in Texas, and I'm going, this is crazy. These people are crazy.
Yeah, that Jeff Lowe guy, holy shit, that dude is a crook and a half, huh?
That guy is a crook is an understatement. He's like one of the shadiest people that you could. I mean, he's like he just undercuts everybody. He goes in business for himself.
And isn't it weird, how many of these people are using tigers for sex? Like, Jeff Lowe wanted access to the tigers because it was getting him sex with all these girls.
It's stunning. And I don't know. I do have to question. I mean, I don't like to accuse the victims of anything. Because all these girls and these things are victims in my mind. Because these guys are very, they're like Jim Jones-esque, they use powerful words and stuff like that to these women. But how gullible do these women and these people who work there and live there have to be to follow people like this? Are they that desperate for some kind of, role models or parent figures?
Well, a lot of them are young, James. I mean, and the thing about being young, a lot of people, when you're young, you just don't have the experience of living life yet to know better.
But doesn't common sense kick in?
But how many have you not seen young people not have common sense in your life?
I've seen old people not have common sense.
Well, yeah, but
people now.
When you were young, do you not recall other people classmates or friends?
Yeah, I know they were idiots.
Yeah, I mean.
It's one thing to be okay, but it's another thing to leave everything and live in this compound where you're a sex slave don't get paid. You wear the same clothes for a week. I mean, something's got to kick in and say, this is not how life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, something needs to go off. Like a switch needs to go off. You know, I mean, unless he kept them all high.
Well, speaking of these young people, what about, do you think, because no one has an answer for this, do you think that the one husband killed himself intentionally, or was it an accident?
Oh, I don't, you know something, Pedro? I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's 50-50. I think either or. I won't be, I wouldn't be surprised if it was intentional.
I mean, apparently he from interviews that people who were working there, they said that he always went around pointing the gun at people because he kept saying, like, well, the clip isn't in, it can't fire.
Yeah, yeah.
And not knowing that there was like one in the round or whatever in the barrel.
Well, yeah, but how do you not know there's one in the round? I mean, he was always carrying around that gun. He was always pointing it at people.
He was on meth all the time too, Jay.
Yeah, I know he was on meth. That guy was nuts, man. I can't. Hold on. Speaking of high, because I need to get off this subject. Speaking of being high, how about that New Jack?
Oh, yeah.
Dark Side of the Ring, yeah.
Yeah, how about, I mean, you want to talk about somebody who's unapologetic, speaks it. I think I speak it as it is. This guy tells it like it is, and he said it right there. You know, I want to be 80 years old in a wheelchair doing coke. This guy is absolutely fucking nuts.
Yeah,
he truly doesn't give a shit.
No, and I mean, he's definitely got a lot of problems, and the only didn't like about the only not like about so is they did not to exactly how bad off New Jack was after Grimes fell on him.
Mm.
Yeah,
and
he's got some serious issues from that.
But they didn't even really show it good either.
No.
The fall. And
I have a better copy of that on one of my videotapes. I have the actual match on my tape.
Right, I had it too. I mean, he literally fell on New Jack's head on the floor from what, 20 feet up?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they barely showed it.
I've watched other interviews with New Jack talking about, he was blind. He woke up, he was fucking blind. And he was blind for what, 6 months?
Some shit like that. He was blind,
I mean, that's terrible.
and
how
he had brain fluid coming out of his mouth and nose.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but you say, I mean, after he woke up in the hospital, he was blind. But I mean, it's, it's just after, and like you said, the fucking, skull fractures. I mean, this dude has definitely had brain damage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a major concussion. And I mean, he was nearly killed by this guy. And I think that really glossed over that. And, trying to portray, I think for there's a lot of times where New Jack has obviously been ultra violent, and, people should have just known fucking better than to get in a ring with him.
Yeah, we've all seen him in person, so we know.
Right. But, well, I mean, in person, he's an amazingly sweet and nice guy.
No. I mean, in the ring.
Yeah. But the thing is when I think, at times where New Jack had, has been provoked, it's not right that he was trying to kill Vic Grimes in that giant table scaffold match thing. That's not right at all. But I mean, if I was Vic Grimes, I would have left the country.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, because I mean, it's not like he was ever
on this.
gonna.
You notice that?
Huh?
Because he doesn't speak on this. You notice that?
Well, no shit. I'm sure he didn't want to have anything to do with the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking New Jack find his ass again.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, but I agree with you. They definitely glossed over it. How about you, Pedro?
They glossed over his near death injuries.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's you know, it's kind of is a good segue like Tiger King to this because it's another super charismatic, colorful personality who cut great promos, right? And
that OJ promo was brutal.
Oh, I know, and like you kind of because he's so likable in a way. Sometimes, you know, you don't think so much about kind of what kind of bad person he is, but.
Is he a bad person, or does he truly just doesn't give a shit?
Well, that would make
the person who doesn't give a shit is a bad person.
Yeah, true.
But the once again, I mean, there's reasons he is why who he is. You know, he grew up in a terrible family. You know, he obviously been abused. He's obviously, been in a shitty neighborhood. You know, he's obviously been through a lot of crap. But really, the wrestling world, especially the people that worked in the business, they knew how he was real quick. It's not like this was some hidden bullshit that people were like, "Oh my god, I'm so shocked. He's really like that. He really tried to hurt you." Yeah. What? I can't believe he tried. I can't believe he tried to hurt you. Really? Yeah. No. Everybody knows that shit. Okay. Everybody knows if you piss him off, if you don't do what the fuck you're supposed to do, then he's gonna fucking go to your ass. And it becomes
just like that guy in Florida punched him in the nose for real in the ring. New Jack went off on him.
Yeah, and then the guy was like, "Well, if I drop the charges, can we do this as a angle and do it all over Florida?" I mean, that's
unbelievable.
Yeah. So I mean, how bad was that guy stabbed? They didn't talk to that guy either.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So, Mike Awesome, it was, that a lot of people knew that Mike Awesome was scared of New Jack, did not want to work with him. So, was he scared of him or was he smart?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point.
Right?
Yeah, good point.
I mean, if I'd have been a wrestler during that era, if they just said, "Okay, you're working with New Jack tonight," I would have gone straight to New Jack and say, "Look, how can you beat the shit out of me, and how can I make you look good without me bleeding? That's what I would have been like. I would have been like, I'll do damn near anything you want me to do to make you fucking look good tonight. Just don't stab me, don't stab me, don't cut me, but please beat my ass. I got to work with you. I'll be glad to work with you. Just, don't carve a road map into my forehead.
Yeah, exactly.
They focused a lot on that Eric, the mass transit. I can't remember.
Yeah, Eric Koulis. Yeah,
Eric Koulis. Yeah, that mass transit incident.
Mongolian Chop, you know him from Twitter?
Okay.
Yeah. He went to school with Mass Transit's brother.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard so many different versions of the Mass Transit story. I've heard, that that he came in and he told Jack that this is what he wanted to do. He was trying to call all the spots, and I've heard people say, if you're new in the business, you don't do that. I've heard so many different variations of the story. It's like it's crazy. But the one thing is, the one constant I always hear is that he wanted to get color, and he didn't know how to get color. So he asked Jack to do it, and Jack said he'll cut the shit out of him, and he did. Yep. And that's insane,
Yeah.
I just unbelievable.
We also you found that one video, James, you showed us where New Jag is talking about Benoit.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Motherfucker.
He's wearing that's a
OJ,
yeah, jersey he was wearing.
Yeah, that's an OJ Simpson Bills jersey he's wearing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he was like, you should have slapped a hoe, not choke a hoe. Oh no, shit! What is wrong with this guy?
Right.
He was insane.
Yeah, and I mean, he definitely condemned Benoit. He really he spit it out. I mean, if you really honestly, if you can just you listen to what he said, he's not lying. And I just I didn't know the motherfucker, I didn't know Chris Benoit, but I liked him as a wrestler. But I mean, all that shit, when it all came out, that I'm right there. I'm just like, man, it's like no Hall of Fame, no nothing, no, he doesn't get nothing.
No, he shouldn't. I mean, it's and as crude as New Jack can be, he made a point when he said, everybody in this room right here took steroids. I took steroids. This guy took steroids. Everybody took steroids. We don't blame steroids for this chicken. Steroids didn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's right. And he's right.
They all probably had concussions and stuff as well. So,
well, and also like New Jack said too, if you watch those chair shots that Benoit took, he had his hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like a lot of people say,
of course we know that flying headbutt was stupid. I mean, that was stupid for him to do. It's stupid for anybody to do. If you do it, you're fucking stupid.
He was told not to do it. Even Harley Race told him not to do it.
Right. Hey, I want to do this. Don't do it. Fucking don't do it. I don't know if Dynamite gave him his boots when he retired. And even before he died, and Dynamite Kid, his personal life was not great either. I mean, turns out he was a shitty person in a lot of ways, but I mean, it's just there's so many people who didn't live through it, and I think there's something always to be said for people who live through shit, understanding it differently than people who are back on years later. And
I agree.
Even this that was
I've always said this, and I want to continue to say this. A lot of people say that Eddie Guerrero dying had a lot to do with Chris Benoit, quote unquote, losing it, right? And I'm going to say it. It's you know what? It may be the cause. It's not the excuse. There is no excuse for what he did.
No,
absolutely none. No. I know he had the CTE. I know he had the CTE with the brain, and he's like an 89-year-old, and this, that, the third, and depression. But you can't pin actions like that on somebody dying in his life. No, but people go through tragic and traumas each and every day. Okay.
Yeah, people have been through a lot worse shit. There are millions of people who've been through a lot worse shit than he's been through. Yeah. Like they said, is You know, when you talk about his brain damage looking like an Alzheimer's patient, it's like how many Alzheimer's patients, go nuts and kill their wife and kid?
No.
We don't see that either. I mean, this guy did it. He fucking
and it
did
wasn't impulsive. He knew when he was doing it. It was a 3-day period.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just that, but I mean, he'd been abusive. He'd been drinking too much. He'd been an asshole.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and think about. Well, no, listen. I was going to get into details of things. Well, we shouldn't get into details of what he did, but some of the stuff he did, it's just like there's one. If he had just hit her, you could see that being like an explosion of anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't just like attack her. He a lot of stuff happens after that before she's dead. He ties her, he restrains her, then he kills her, then he drugs the child.
Yeah, it was methodical. It was over a 3-day period. He researched this, Pedro.
And then, I mean, he still tried to see if he could make the pay-per-view.
Yeah, he was definitely conflicted on whether or not he should show up or not. And that was, who knows what he was thinking. Maybe he was thinking he could buy himself some extra time. Maybe he was thinking about fleeing the country.
Right.
Who knows what he was thinking? But, because some people thought that he might have been, thinking of taking Daniel with him and running. I'm certain that that was probably something that crossed his mind. But that he had to come to that conclusion that it was all going to catch up to him.
One thing to keep in mind, though, when listening to Jericho and Chavo and etc. talk about Benoit, is that these people are having to, reconcile the person they knew with the thing that happened. And it's just a tough, no, it's an impossible thing. There's like no.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
There's no right road for them to really take because it's hard for those people. Like we're just fans. It's like much easier for us to come to, to get to a conclusion than it is for someone who knew them,
But that's how he went out too. Yeah. That's how his life ended. Doing these 2 horrible things and then committing suicide.
Yeah.
And how you cannot redeem yourself. You can't even begin to redeem yourself or take responsibility or anything when you've done these things. And I mean, there's no coming back from killing your wife and child.
No.
But there's not.
Well, yeah. I don't mean to sound. I don't know how this is going to come up, but you know me, I'm going to say it anyway. I think the best possible, the way he ended it, he had no choice to end it like that. Because if he would have fled the country, he would have been the most wanted man on the planet.
Well,
okay. Everybody would have wanted him to answer for it. It would have been it would have been like, it would have been incredible. Everybody would have wanted him to answer for the death of his wife and child.
I mean,
I think somebody would have ended up killing him. I think I think he had no choice but to end it the way he ended because in the long run, he knew that the whole entire world, everybody would be out for him. Everybody would want him to answer out for him.
The only issue I have with that, James, is after killing the wife, he has time to consider his next move.
Yeah, he did. Okay. He does.
So he does not have to kill the son.
No, he does not.
He could have called the police on himself, and or he could have called the police. He could have gotten Daniel to his aunt, like the Nancy.
I agree.
And then he could have killed himself and called the police and then killed himself. I mean, there's like a number of things he could have done that doesn't involve killing the child.
I totally agree. The child was the most innocent pawn in all this. There is no rhyme or reason why this child should be dead right now. None whatsoever.
He shouldn't have killed his wife, no matter
what.
No,
of course not. But we're talking in the scope of things.
Yeah, but once you've done that, you don't have to kill the child. Like you don't have to go there.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh, Angie. Good morning, Angie.
Angie, what's going on? Angie,
she said to.
Now I don't know if you're sad. Yeah, sorry about Wyndham and Rotunda. Yeah, it's brutal, right? All of us need to picket, have a protest. I think the ropes were broken during the match, or the steps were loose, or the ref was drunk. Something happened in that match where we need a do-over. Damn it!
Something.
I'm calling Iron Mike Sharp.
New Jack came in with a balcony dive.
Yeah.
The New Jack came out of the balcony. I'm calling SD Jones. I'm calling everybody. Everybody. The ghost of Gary Hart. Everybody needs to protest over here.
Hey, just to change topic because we've gone kind of a downer road here in this episode.
I'm glad you recognize what that looks like now.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were recreating my concert.
Why you got this put music to this? And you got Pedro's concert. He killed his wife and his children. Like a man, Pedro. Oh my God!
Killed my wife first. I took her life and I wondered what to. Okay, this is terrible.
Oh my God!
Please forgive me, everyone. But y'all everyone loves Kaiju, right?
Yes, Kaiju, yes.
Monsters. And a lot of us like Mike Mignola, right? The comic book artist.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, James, he's like you. He's a loudmouth Yankee.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Zeus.
Okay. Everyone needs to go check out Mike Mignola's Instagram account because he has been drawing up a storm. He's been drawing all the Godzilla monsters. He's been drawing skeletons and policeman outfits and all kind of things. He's just drawing up a storm. So if you want to see some cool ass Kaiju art and stuff, go check out Mike Mignola's Instagram.
Cool. Sounds good. We'll do, Pedro. Yeah, Angie, tweet protest sounds good. I'm even going to make some signs, and I'm going to hire Kevin Nash to hold the signs, but I have to get him insurance first. This way he don't break his wrist for trying to hold the sign up,
Oh, my goodness.
Brutal.
Oh, man.
Woo. Yeah, because how does this rematch take place? It was a rematch nobody saw.
It was in an empty building.
It was in an empty building. The match lasted 6.5 seconds. There was a total of 14 votes, and none of us. I was like, "Yo, what happened?"
Sad.
Some shady stuff going on.
I should have just made it general manager's choice. I should have pulled a Teddy Long.
You should have said virtual coin flip. Wink, wink.
Heads I win, tails you lose. They got to get past the Midnight Express, and on paper, that
I hate to say this, but this is the very
take them apart.
Hopefully, I hate to say it, but this is very Vince Russo booking-esque.
Ugh.
Like, who booked this?
It's not booked, but yeah, it's It waxes of
yeah. It smells a little like that.
Hey, I want to thank everyone for coming in the chat room. We've had one of our livelier crowds in a while.
Thanks for everybody showing up.
YYH, Brian Bell, Heather, Angie.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, YY. Thanks to the Kaiju Queen.
We
and
apologize.
the Dodger Girl.
We apologize Yes, we apologize for turning this episode into my concert.
Yeah, sorry.
It's not that sad.
I don't know. A lot of people died, Zeus. Just like
I don't know, but at least we didn't have to hear
Poor
the
Tommy.
about it.
Poor Tommy.
Oh my goodness.
Put you might be.
Hey, at least we had some great. I mean, some great highlights of the week. You know, Gomer's okay.
Yeah, but Gomer's okay.
Gomer's okay. I'm okay. You're okay. James is okay. So,
Angie, I miss baseball.
Yes.
why are you having a hard time falling asleep?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, look at Zeus. Zeus got jokes this week.
So
Look, it's not a real sport if you can eat nachos during the game.
Wow, Zeus, baseball is a living chess game. Okay, it's all about moves and counter moves.
Is even numbers against even numbers to start with. It's not 11 against one guy with a bat.
It's move versus counter move versus counter move versus this move, that move. I love baseball. Great stuff.
Baseball, yeah, baseball, especially live, like in person, baseball is great. But,
well, yeah, because you're in a baseball stadium.
That's okay. Everybody's got their thing. It's all good. As long as we share our love for the square circle, that's what makes it all work, right, Zeus?
That's right. That's right. And it's, once this is all over, I just, I hope that, everything is gonna, eventually, maybe, by the end of summertime, maybe, they get a handle on this thing. Maybe they get a shot, and we can go back to having some live wrestling again.
Yeah, it's sorely missed. That's for sure.
we all will.
As a matter of fact, today was my Ring of Honor show.
Oh.
Yeah, it was actually today was my Supercard of Honor.
Sad.
That's sad. And today's WrestleMania. You guys are watching? I am. Fuck it. I'm gonna see what it's
Day
like.
one? No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
No, thank you. No.
No, maybe next week.
Did you hear that fucking Fox was charging fucking $59 for that shit?
Wow.
Yeah, per day, I heard.
Per day.
Like,
is it per day or is it both days?
I saw somebody had a screenshot. It was
per day? That's balls. That's some balls.
Next week we will talk about this weird what do you call the no people WrestleMania. This is gonna be the weirdest thing. This pre-recorded, no audience WrestleMania. This is gonna be the strangest shit show we've ever seen.
That's some balls charging $59 per day. You gotta be shitting me.
And I'm sure next week we'll talk about the round of 16 in the
some tough matchup.
March.
Well, hold on. There may be a special match going on because of some protest that needs to happen. Something needs to go down. We will get to the bottom of this, okay?
We will see everyone next week. Everyone take care. Please stay safe, everyone.
Call Inspector Gadget. Call Spy versus Spy. Let's get this shit done.
Inspector Gadget. We'll see you next week. Adios.
Thanks, everybody, for showing up and hanging out. Have a good weekend and stay safe, everyone. Peace.